In a small village in Nigeria, there lived a young man named Teo. Teo was not only very handsome, but also quite wealthy. He owned a large farm where he grew all sorts of crops. Teo was very successful, and this made him very happy. What made him even happier was the attention he got from beautiful young women, who often admired him and confessed their love for him. However, Teo was in a relationship with a lovely young woman named Funmi. Funmi was beautiful and worked as a dressmaker, creating all sorts of lovely clothes. Almost all the ladies in the village came to her for their dresses. Teo and Funmi had been childhood sweethearts and started dating when they were just 16 years old. Initially, Teo only had eyes for Funmi and publicly professed his love for her. As Teo grew into a handsome and wealthy young man, ladies began to throw themselves at him, and his behavior changed. He started flirting with every woman he came across. Funmi was heartbroken and often cried whenever she caught Teo with another woman. She would confront and fight with the other women, turning from a sweet, easygoing person to someone always ready for a fight. Funmi was tired of the relationship and would sometimes end it, telling Teo she knew her worth and was tired of being hurt. But after a few days, she would go back to Teo, crying and saying she couldn't leave him because they had been together for so long. Teo didn't care much whether Funmi stayed or left, since many women were vying for his attention. But he had a soft spot for Funmi, so he never ended things with her. As time went on, Funmi continued to confront and fight several women she suspected of dating Teo. She even lost many customers because some of the women had been involved with Teo. Funmi was frustrated and wanted Teo to marry her, as she had spent the last 7 years with him and couldn't imagine being with anyone else. She frequently asked Teo when he would marry her, but he always dismissed her, saying he wasn't ready for marriage yet. Funmi's mother, Mama Bisi, often cautioned her, saying that a woman shouldn't force herself on a man. She warned Funmi that Teo didn't love her and that better men were waiting for her. Funmi refused to listen, insisting that she couldn't marry anyone else and that Teo loved her. 2 years later, Funmi was still waiting for Teo to be ready. She had even had 2 abortions for him, but he was still not ready to settle down and continued to flirt with other women. One day, Teo told Funmi that his friend in a neighboring village had lost his mother and that he was going for the burial. He gave her the key to his house and asked her to clean it and cook for him while he was away. Funmi was very happy. She felt like Teo's wife, so she cleaned his entire house, washed his clothes, and cooked delicious meals for him. She even made sure to look her best for Teo's return. However, when she arrived at Teo's house later that evening, she saw a crowd gathered around. Teo was back, but he was not alone. He was standing with a very beautiful young woman who looked like a princess from her attire, and the people with her. Funmi was stunned to see Teo and the princess dressed in beautiful outfits, looking like they had just gotten married. Funmi asked someone nearby what was happening, and the person told her that Teo had married Princess Ada, the only daughter of King Abina of a neighboring village. Funmi was shocked and tears streamed down her face. She felt a mix of emotions, including the urge to attack Princess Ada, but she knew it was impossible as she couldn't lay a hand on royalty. Funmi turned and went home in shame. Her family, who had heard the news, stared at her in shock. Funmi cried and wept profusely, feeling like a fool for cleaning, cooking, and washing Teo's clothes while he was busy marrying someone else. She remembered how Teo had mentioned a friend getting married, realizing he had been preparing her for what he was about to do. Teo had used and deceived her for 9 years. Unable to bear it any longer, Funmi decided to confront Teo. Luckily, she found him at his home and cried out, asking how he could do this to her, after all she had done for him. Teo apologized, telling her that the problem was him, not her. He said she was too good for him, and advised her to move on, assuring her she would find a better man. He confessed there was no spark left in their relationship, and they would be better off apart. Funmi, filled with anger and sadness, walked back home in tears. That night she couldn't sleep. At midnight she went outside, undressed, and started screaming for justice, claiming that Teo had betrayed their oath. The next morning, Funmi went to her shop, expecting bad news about Teo, but nothing happened. Instead, Teo and Princess Ada were happily enjoying their life together. Seeing them together made Funmi's chest hurt, and she wished for the ground to swallow her up. A few months later, Princess Ada found out she was pregnant, and both she and Teo were very happy. Their life seemed perfect. However, as her due date approached, Ada had a troubling dream where an ugly, evil bird took her baby away. She woke up in a pool of blood and realized she had lost the baby. She screamed, and Teo, filled with fear, comforted her but didn't tell her about his past with Funmi. Despite the loss, Ada became pregnant again a few weeks later. This time, she was very prayerful and made sure to attend all her doctor appointments. But as her due date neared, she had the same nightmare, and woke up to find she had lost the baby again. Princess Ada decided to visit the herbalist in her village to find out why she was losing her babies. The herbalist told her that Teo couldn't have children with anyone but Funmi, as they had entered a spiritual covenant when they were young. Ada couldn't believe it, and immediately packed her bags to leave. Tao tried to stop her, but she was furious. She accused him of deceiving her and ruining her life. Teo was left embarrassed and ashamed. The villagers whispered about him wherever he went. Funmi heard about everything and was happy, believing that Teo would come back to her. Eventually, Teo did return, begging Funmi for forgiveness. Funmi forgave him, and they got married. While Funmi was overjoyed, Teo felt trapped and unhappy. He resented Funmi and felt caged. One morning, Teo couldn't take it anymore and left the house, never to return. 40 years later, Funmi remained alone, without a husband or children, sitting in front of their home every day, hoping that Teo would come back one day. She still believed in their love, despite everything that had happened. Hi besties, it's Moonlight Tales with Sachima TV again. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think? Do you think that Funmi was very stupid for fighting for a man? And as if that was not enough, after the man had, packed up his bags and run away, she was still waiting for him 40 years later. What do you think about that? Is that love or stupidity? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button now and like my videos and share with your loved ones. So till I come your way again with more interesting stories. Bye for now.